tracking hybrid remote work at different companies. And Shilpi, welcome. Thank you for joining in. Shilpi is part of a fast-growing startup that's growing at breakneck speed, raised multiple rounds of funding called InFeedo, and coincidentally, they help other companies with employee engagement through their software, data analytics, insights, AI, you name it, they've got it in their platform, right? And InFeedo is a team that we've been working with for the last year or so, and uh, and we've been part of their journey of embracing remote work. And in this talk, we're going to kind of quickly pick Shilpi's thoughts and ideas and the experience of what's gone through in the last year or so in shaping up their remote work and remote work culture at their teams and all that. So again, once again, thank you, Shilpi, for joining in, and thanks for accepting to share your journey with all of us.
Thank you so much, Ram, for such a great welcome. You make us feel special always.
No, I mean, yeah, always, right? Always special, always. I mean, and I mean, you've joined other of streams as well, so we always feel comfortable having you because there are always those nuggets of knowledge and pearls of wisdom that you've got to share, and you put it so nicely. So I'm really excited about listening to you today, right? But I just want to start off with like a overall a broad-ended question where if you would love to, I would love to understand what went behind the thought process at InFeedo, at the leadership level, at the HR leadership level, when after the pandemic you were switching into a remote first company or 100% remote company, as you love to call it yours, love to call InFeedo. What went behind the scenes? What is the thought process? What are the apprehensions? What are the challenges that I mean, you were tasked to solve, right? Because it's your brainchild that what we are doing today with InFeedo, it's your brainchild and your team is kind of working behind the scenes, right? So I'd love to understand what went behind the various decisions that happened a year back on your how InFeedo went remote and how did you kind of take it step by step? So if you would love to hear that, Sleepy.
Sure. Um, Sham, I think like everyone else, it was COVID which took us to that path that okay, remote work is gonna be the new thing. But yeah, finally deciding that this is going to be the new normal for us. I think the entire credit goes to the team back then, including everyone, not just the leadership, I would say, but including everyone. Because as soon as we went remote, it was like everyone else, but unlike everyone else, I'll say it worked in our favor. I've seen, many companies moving back to office or moving back to, hybrid model and so. But we can proudly today say that we are 100% remote and we don't call our employees to office anymore.
Right.
And probably that's something that's, helping us improve our productivity, talent density, and whatnot. And based on this only, the decision actually came up. And it was a thought that initially just started that why can't we go remote? And Infido has been that one company, that I've seen always love experimenting with new different things.
Right.
Like remote work back then wasn't normal, but we thought that why not? Right now, you won't see many of the companies, promoting 4-day work week or so, but we have that in our pipeline as well. We have it already for our belt holders and so. So a
Right.
lot of things goes into experimentation, and back then that was a thought that came up. And nothing at Infido happens, at just the leadership level. Like it's not like that the leadership will just take decisions for everyone and they'll have to abide by it. Back then also what happened was that we had a poll that how many people want to work from office, how many people want to work remotely, and
Right.
so. And you would be amazed that more than 60% of the folks back then mentioned that we want to go remote, permanently remote.
Right. Right.
And that was a clue that okay, when so many people actually want to work permanently remote, and we have the metrics as well that our productivity is increasing, the new talent that we are hiring is also coming up. And the best part was that relocation wasn't required anymore.
Right. Right.
Earlier, hiring new talent had a major challenge that you have to relocate somebody, but now you did not have to. So that was another best thing, that more and more dense talent was coming to our team. So
Right.
that is how we moved to remote entirely.
Awesome. And I'm sure it was a leap of faith that everybody took, right? And I mean, it was a territory, uncharted territory. While during COVID, we had been, I mean, everybody was forced to be remote, but saying that this is how we're going to be henceforth is still like a bold decision to make, and you've stuck with it, right? And like you said, many companies have have had like shaky feet and they've gone back, right, to what worked before, and you have not. So that's great, right? I'm going to change the. I mean, you've brought out a lot of interesting points. I'm going to change the question and I'm going to throw you a few things, right? I mean, you talked about a lot of companies who are switching back to, and they raise a few points, and I'm going to kind of need a yes or no answer from you for some of that, right? Remote um, kills team culture. True or false?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
No,
Remote work.
remote work, being remote, you kind of spoil. You don't have you can't have a culture. You can't have maintain a culture, team culture or company culture while being remote. True or false?
That's false. We have
Okay.
done that.
Okay. And when you are remote, new employees who join, the new onboardees who come on join, they're left clueless. They don't know what to do, where to do. I mean, what to do. They don't fit into the team, right? I mean, remote. I mean, true or false?
False. With the right parameters set in, it can never be, leaving somebody hanging.
Right. Number three, right? And in the I think the middle of your decision making is when you also raised your next round of funding, right? So which means that there was like growth. I mean, there was like obviously pressures, growth, all of that, right? You were onboarding, you were scaling quite fast, as I remember it, right? So innovation, right? One of the other words used by naysayers is like remote companies cannot be innovative, right? I mean, innovation dies at remote companies. True or false?
Absolutely false.
Okay. And lastly, team bonding and hence collaboration takes a nosedive, right? It is okay for some time, but then after that it starts to nosedive. True or false?
Again, false.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to kind of say is like productivity. You talked about productivity, right? So maybe rather than asking you a true or false question, right? Can you kind of once you consciously I mean, I think in the last LinkedIn Live said remote by choice, right, or hybrid by choice versus hybrid as a pill that's given prescriptively, right? So when you have this remote by choice, or be at a co-working space at your choice, uh, there's no like prescription that the company is giving for you, right? What have you seen anecdotally and data wise? How have you seen productivity change in your team, right, or improve for the better, or issues that you've had with productivity? Again, that's another naysay, right? A lot of them say productivity was great for the first year, but then it has nosedive after that, right? And a lot of companies, in fact, great entrepreneur friends that I respect a lot, right? They kind of say, hey, many of my employees were not even working. They didn't even open their laptop to work, right? And all sorts of trust issues start to develop between middle management and the team, and all that, right? So how has that experience been at InFeedo? What has been anecdotally, how has productivity been for your teams? Any evidence that you would love to share?
Of course, challenges came our way as well. It's not like that, we were pro at it at first place itself. We
Obviously,
started
yeah.
small with this, and with all the challenges that we faced, we had our own learnings as well. That okay, this has happened. Let's find a solution to this and how we can improve, and we went ahead. With respect to productivity, I think, of course, there's no one matrix that can help gauge productivity that where we are right now. But I think Amber, the product that we have at InFeedo, it's an AI analytical tool that we have, and that is the major thing that has helped gauge that how many people are happy, how many people are not happy,
Mhm.
if they want to do kind of 2-day work week, or they want to go ahead book by themselves, like what were the options that we could give them, is all that Amber helped us gauge from them. And with Amber, people could actually be very much open. Probably with when we give them surveys or something, they are not that much open to everything. But with Amber, the conversational thing that happens with that, they were actually able to open up and tell that actually what they want, and based on that, decisions were taken.
Right,
Again, with this, performance and everything has included, but if I'm to give you one major metrics, is that how it is successful for us right now, the productivity and everything. When we took the decision, we were like around 50 people, and now we are thrice that headcount.
right,
With a lot of, and it's not like that, it's all new people. Most of the folks are retained only, like they are still continuing. We have so many work anniversaries coming up with 4 years, 5 years at InFeedo, and so as well.
right.
So I think that in itself says that people are actually happy, and whenever we are out there hiring as well,
Mhm.
so many people want to join us because they feel that they now can, which they couldn't if we were kind of in one location, because they would have to relocate.
Right.
So that's why I say that the talent density and productivity both have increased for us.
Got it. Got it. Sure. And any anecdotal, because as a HR leader, I'm sure like your, I mean, and the company that you've grown, you've switched from 50 to 150 in very little time. So, any anecdotal, I mean, from teams, the team members, team leaders. In fact, I would love to hear from business leaders, business unit leaders, right? Anything that they have shared that gives you the confidence that this is working for InFeedo. I mean, I'm sure like the metrics tell you that already, but what are some of the anecdotal references that people have or thoughts they've shared with you?
Of course, it's the performance metrics that I see all over the place right now. When so we have the belt holders thing. So we're in the top performers of the company. So we have a rating scale of 3, which is you are meeting expectations. You're a 3. If you are below that, you're a 2, and below that a 1. But
Right,
then if you are exceeding or significantly exceeding expectations, you are given a rating of a 4 and a 5. And this
right.
is both self rating and a manager rating.
Mhm.
Earlier, if I was to say that how many belt holders we had, which is the top performers, probably from that, like before we went remote, or like as soon as we went remote, and now after 3 years, if I am to see, the percentage of the number of belt holders has increased for us.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
That in itself says that the high, if the top, and it's very difficult now. Earlier probably we were a small company, the metrics, the so let's say if you have 3 members in the team, it's pretty easy to announce one as the top performer. But when you have 30 people in the team,
Right.
it's again a difficult call that who
Right.
will be the top performers, because each and everyone is challenging each other,
Right.
that
Right.
everyone in the team is outperforming themselves, and so this is one
What
metric.
what are you saying that the average contribution per employee and
Has
productivity and output has increased, right? So which is something that every startup would love to aim, right? I mean, aspirationally they would love to be there. I think you're only cracking it and hitting it out of the park, to say so to say, right?
that's
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so like, I mean, and then the next one that I want to switch over, right, is to if you could, when GoFloaters and InFeedo started to work together, right? So when you switched over, you decided to be 100% remote, right? What made or what triggered, or was it always pre-planned that you would do this and you would give the choice of people to work out of a co-working space? So basically, what I'm trying to differentiate is like there are a lot of companies that say that they're 100% remote, but all they mean is like work from home is approved, right? Approved
hmm.
for work home working, and that's the only way, right? I'm not enabling you with anything else, right? So you either work from home or you don't, right? So basically, that's and they call it 100% remote, right? But in your case, you call it 100% remote, yet you're enabling people with a choice of coming to a facility of which is near their home when they want, where they want, to socialize, to be in a plugin, I mean, be in a different atmosphere, right? To co-create ideas with their colleagues or just to social with people from other industries, from other companies and all that. So what was it, a conscious choice, or was that did that come as part of the learning experience of being remote?
Nothing was pre-planned as we started being remote. That was based on the poll that happened. Everyone decided that okay, let's do this. It started as an experiment, I'll say. Everyone wanted to try it, and
Right,
it worked pretty much well for us. As we moved forward with it, for initial 1.5 year, we saw nothing that was coming as a blocker here, or because it was new for everyone, and when you get something new, you are trying it for a long period. But after that, some days comes when it gets monotonous. Then
right,
as COVID started going back, and working from office, or guests coming over, and everything started became normal. That is when people started realizing that maybe working from home is not always the best choice.
right,
The
right,
best thing at Infido is that we have listening power as a great tool for us. uh, Whenever we want to take a decision, whenever we want to understand what's happening, we try and gauge whatever people are trying to say. And
right,
course, again, I'll come back that Amber helps us with that. So that's where Amber, showed us, it helped us identify three or four cohorts, I'll say, of
Mhm.
in folks who actually wanted to work out of office as well.
Right.
If I'm to give you the cohorts, these were new hires, freshers,
Mhm.
people working on 0 to 1 projects. And so, like, these were different cohorts that we identified, that these are the people who want to come to office now.
Right.
Around 25 to 30% folks must be there, but they didn't want to come to office every day. They just needed a space that whenever, it's getting monotonous, whenever we don't have the required space at home, what is the option for us? Where can we go?
Right.
Working out of a cafe or a nearby place is not always the right option, because you need a focus zone as well. So
Right.
that's
Right.
what happened in 2021 only, even while COVID was just fading away. We had started back with our partnership with WeWorks, and we had given access to everyone that, by choice, whoever wants a space, it's getting monotonous for you, go
Right.
and work out of a co-working space.
Right. Right.
And after a year collaboration with WeWork, as we were growing, we also realized that there are folks who are not in the metro cities, because WeWork
Right.
is only in the metro cities.
Right. Right.
As we were expanding, there were folks who were at different locations, and they also wanted co-working spaces. And that's where my hunt started, and we found GoFloaters. And
Right.
now I can say, like, in most of the locations, we have a co-working space, with everyone having, let's say, in a 4 kilometer vicinity, everyone has a co-working space. And for those who don't have, I always, keep on texting you with the links and everything. Okay, let's get one here. And luckily, you always get us one as well.
Right.
So that's how the entire thing went. But yeah, nothing was pre-decided. It always come with, listening to people, understanding what they want, finding a solution for them, and that's
Right.
how we proceed.
Okay, so the one quick plug that I want to do here, Shilpi, is like for the ones who probably do not realize, Amber is the flagship product of InFeedo, right? And so basically, like Go Floaters, we eat our own dog food, so we don't have an office. We book a space where we go, and InFeedo kind of is understanding employee sentiments and understanding behavior, understanding aspirations, and all that. So, I mean, listening, right? They're listening to the voice of their employees through Amber. So
We call Amber the chief listening officer,
awesome. Okay.
because it listens to everyone.
So personified. I mean, that's great. Great to hear that. And again, what best way to test, right? The what you sell the world is what you have to get sold on, and that's great to hear that you're one of those companies that lives and breathes what you do, right? I mean, not just preaching what you do. So a couple of specific points that I want to kind of drill a little further, Shilpi, right? You talked about the cohorts, right? You said new hires, freshers, are the ones who are looking for it. And in fact, uh, on the contrasting side, one of the other companies that we work with, that's the cohort that actually is not coming to the co-working space as much. The leadership is coming, middle management is absent. People who have had long tenures in the company are coming, but the freshers are not coming. The people who have been hired remotely, who don't know what an office environment looks like, who don't know how is it to sit with a colleague and work, right? Those people are not coming, right? So how has Infido cracked it, right? So when you said this, when you listened, you said freshers wanted to come, but how have you motivated them to come? Have you done anything special to motivate freshers and newer joinees to come? And that's part one of my question. Part of my question is like, how are you onboarding the new hires? Is that special that you're doing to get them into the system, get them to understand Infido, get them to understand the culture, what's good, what's not good, right? And how do you grow in the company opportunities? And so anyway, so those are the two parts of I want to kind of let you answer.
Sham, honestly, we did nothing to, let people come to office. And the thing is that how you cultivate your culture. So as and when new hires join, they see that, people are going, meeting in, different co-working spaces. They are having fun. We have different channels of different locations on Slack as well, like all
Okay.
NCR, all Bangalore,
Right.
all Hyderabad, and so. And whenever people go there, they have, some kind of fun. They went out for lunch, they click pictures, they put it out there. Just with seeing all those things,
Right.
people, get motivated that, okay, we also want to be a part of it. And with freshers and the new hires, I'll say, the thing is that they are new to the company. They want to meet people as well.
Right.
Although they are good with, they joined the company only because they prefer remote work. but no, not many, or maybe most of the people don't mind coming for the first week or the first month to office and meeting new people, meeting their team and so. But again, that's totally at the team's choice, like if they have the bandwidth during that quarter that they can meet up somewhere, or if all the folks are available in that particular location or not. In such situations, they by themselves plan it. It's info driven culture, I'll say, at InFeedo. As a people success team, we don't have to spoon feed them or be after their life that okay, do this or do that. They by themselves get motivated, they want to do different things, want to try different things, and that's where they start. So
Okay.
I think that answers your first point, that
First
how
point.
we're motivating it.
Right.
Second one, how we are onboarding new hires in a remote setup. It's very different as in a physical setup,
Right.
and the main thing is communication with the new hires, I believe, because whenever a new person joins, they are in a dilemma. They are in a subconscious mind tells them that I don't know what to do. Maybe these people will treat me well or not. Who do I go to if I need to reach out to somebody, or if I have questions around something? So whatever they have in their mind, we want to solve it for them pre-hand itself. And for that, we have a Notion documentation done. So Notion is another tool that we are using for documentation
Right.
purposes. All our policies and everything are already set up there. But specifically for the new hires, to help them in their 0 to 90 day period, that's ideally their probation period as well. That's where we want them to have all the resources that probably a new hire would want.
Mhm.
And that deck, that entire document is created in a way wherein they can navigate easily. So all their questions will be answered. That okay, if you need to know about culture activation, here's your clue. You have to just open tabs and go through it. If you want to learn more about the perks that are there, you go here, you click here, you read more about how do you set up your laptop. Probably a very common question for the new hires. So a
Right.
lot of things, org wide are set for them. And again, with respect to their function, also there's another column that we have altogether, which helps them with the function activation part. And in
Okay.
this, so this is kind of customized, I'll say, for each and every person. So whenever a new hire is about to join, around a week before, their to be manager starts working on it. In
Okay.
that, everything is step by step mentioned over there. The template remains same for everyone. That's a
Right.
common template, but the uh, things that are to be added, like customized thing, like it would have a tab which says message from your captain. Captain is what we call the managers over here.
Okay.
Who's
Okay.
gonna be your buddy? Know your buddy. So we have a buddy system as well, wherein on day one you are assigned a buddy at InFeedo that can most probably be a person from your team itself, who will
Right.
help you navigate through everything.
Right.
Your ops details, whatever details you would need. If I need to reach out to somebody for compliance, who is the person? If I need to reach out to somebody for people success, who is the person? Everything is mentioned over there. And this is a board that we have created. I'll say in the last 3 years, every month is when we are adding something new to it. Every time it is being updated based on the needs of the people. Every time a new batch joins us, we get to know that okay, this can be better or that can be better, because there are so many people from outside who come, and they come with their own learnings, their own experiences, and they share it with us that what, in my previous company they used to do that, how about you add it? And that's where we take our learnings, and we always keep on updating that deck. And so far, that one deck has actually given us so many compliments, I'll say, that every new hire just loves it, that this is
Right.
so much easy for me. It's like a directory kind of thing, that if you are in a remote setup, you just go there, you open up the things and you see it for yourself. You don't have to wait that okay, when will the people success person connect with me and I'll speak to them and they'll solve my queries.
Got it. Got it.
Apart from that, we have trainings and induction and everything, like a proper product training happens for them. It's a week or a 2 week thing that happens, wherein they are taken through the modules of the product and everything. No matter whichever function you are, you need the product training.
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
Then people success team also delivers a kind of a 1 week training, wherein we take them through the policies, processes, help them understand how we work, what are the remote work ethics that we like to work on, how is performance taken care of at InFeedo, and so on. So all the things that probably they'll have questions in week 1 or week 2 are something that we take up in those induction trainings as well.
Got it. Got it. So now coming to the next, I think I'm going to copy that Notion idea. We attempted, but I think we've probably uh, I get a lot of confidence from how you've done it, and you say that if it's getting the accolades and people love it, then I think it's a good learning for us to follow there. So coming to the core part of employee engagement, right? And like we started off this entire session, you kind of help other companies engage their employees better. All that. So I would love to three tricks, or tricks is the wrong word, three tips or three initiatives that your people success team has done, apart from the listening that you've already so much emphasized upon, right, in terms of understanding the pulse of the organization. Apart from that, what three initiatives, three or five or one or two, whatever, right? But basically, how is employee engagement taken care of at InFeedo? Right? How do you ensure that while their employees remote, they feel connected, they feel that their aspirational goals are, they can achieve them at InFeedo, right? How do they stay engaged? How do they stay connected with the organization? How do they feel part of, hey, I'm part of this larger vision mission of this company, right? I'm not like a small cog in the wheel, and I don't get lost in that process, right? I'm near 150 now. Maybe at 50, maybe it was less of a challenge. At 150, I'm sure that comes to the front, right? So, any thoughts you'd love to share on how you engage your employees?
For us, Sham, there are two things in engagement. One is direct engagement that can happen, another is indirect engagement. When I say direct engagement, what I include in that is probably the perks that you can give to people, whatever activities, community build up, or everything that you do. It's a kind of a direct engagement that you are trying to put in the place. But there's one thing that's not visually very much appealing, but that's somewhere at the back end and which makes a major impact, which is your indirect engagement. This is a kind of engagement which happens due to introspection, wherein the employees like, so this is something that I heard when I joined in Fido in one of our all hands. Tanmay, our founder, was mentioning this, that every Monday morning when you come and you join at work, what do you think? Is it the thought that comes to your mind that uh, oh shit, I have to again start working, again open my laptop, again the hectic week and so. And if that's the thought, probably you are at the wrong place. You're not engaged. No matter what's your ENPS score that you are, mentioning, no matter whatever perks you are getting or so. If at the back of your mind, if you're not happy with the kind of work that you're supposed to do, then you are not properly engaged.
Right,
And this kind of engagement cannot come with just, the person himself or herself driving it, or probably their captain, the manager driving it for themselves, or the people success team doing it. It has to be a mix of everyone. All
right,
the stakeholders have to be equally involved in that, and that's when we'll say a person has actually succeeded. And that introspection, that thing that okay, I am being heard, can only come when a company provides a transparent culture. In the last 3 years, I'll say we have seen a lot of ups and downs with when people went remote. Nobody knew what's going to happen. Where are we? What's happening? In the last few quarters as well, we saw so many companies, laying off and everything. So
right,
every time there's, that sense of insecurity that comes up to everyone that, hey, where are we? What are we doing? But if at that point company takes a and by company here I means by the leadership teams, that if they take a stand and they make it clear to everyone that this is the runway that we have, this is the kind of planning that we have for the future months or future quarters coming ahead,
right,
it
right,
actually gives a lot of confidence to the folks. That's the best level of confidence you can provide to any of the employee, and that's where they will be more engaged, I feel. Rather than, of course, perks and everything are at one place, you provide them with all the resources that they need, but those are basics. But another basics that we just don't get hold of is giving them that transparent culture. And
right,
while we are saying that we are giving that transparent culture, we need to ensure that we are listening to them and replying to them as well. So
mm,
why we call Amber a chief listening officer and not a chief hearing officer? The reason is that only when you hear somebody, you just hear whatever they are saying. You don't take action on that. You don't empathize with them. But
right,
whenever you are listening to somebody, you empathize with them as well. You understand that what issues they are facing, and then you try to find a solution for them as well. Not
right,
always you have to find a solution for them. Maybe they are the best people to find solutions for themselves. But sometimes when you just listen to them, you try and help them brainstorm. So whenever you tell Amber something that, hey, I'm not liking this, Amber won't say, okay, noted, and it will not take it directly, to the dashboard for the HR analytics to happen and everything. What it will do is, instead it will probe further that, hey, I'm so sorry to hear that. What exactly is bothering you? Let me know. It will probe to a further point till where exact thing comes out, that okay, what is it that's exactly bothering this person, and not just the top of the mind thing. So it's like a deep dive funnel thing that you need to ensure that's happening over there.
Got it.
So I think that's what is that indirect engagement that's working best for InFeedo right now.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Great to hear that. Again, one more place where the technology that you've built is of use to you, and proving to be an indispensable
Not
agent.
just used to us. I see other companies as well, and I see the reviews that are coming out. The larger companies, I'll say, are making much higher use of it
Right.
because we have more number of employees. Like we still have, 170 folks, so
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
pretty much easier for us to speak to them as well. But what about the companies where we have like 10,000 employees,
Right.
20,000 employees, and so
Absolutely.
Amber plays the most crucial role over there.
Over there. Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. So with size, like the Spider-Man thing, right? With size, and the problems multiply, right? With power.
That's
So that similar thing happens. I'm sure there's the the delta factor of the usefulness of the tool is going to increase with size, right? So one quick point before we know, or two more points before we round up the talk, right? So how is collaboration? You're a product company, right? SaaS company at it, right? And you've got like different functions. Your markets are all over the world, right? So you've got like sales teams that are working round the clock with different geographies. You've got product teams. You've got engineering teams. All that, right? So how was what do you do special, or what do you do? I mean, maybe I'll not say special, right? Because you would say like it's just natural that we do this, right? What do you do to ensure that inter-team collaboration and intra-team collaboration doesn't drop, right, when you're remote, right? And again, obviously, everybody. I mean, it's easy to imagine that when you're in a physical space, all of you are together. You just peep over, you just walk over, you catch people at a coffee, you catch people at lunch, you talk, you exchange notes, and all that water cooler conversations. We talk about that quite a bit, right? In a remote setting, with the choice of people having to come to co-working spaces when they want, where they want. So you're not actually saying that every Wednesday thou shall be there. So you're not forcing that collaboration to happen or forcing that uh, uh, cross pollination to happen, right? But how are you uh, helping your teams do what they have to do, and between teams, right? How does, for example, let's say an inside salesperson, how does he or she appreciate what is happening in marketing, or what's happening in product team, or what's coming in the next release, right? How do I position this to my customer? So some peek into that.
for the collaborations, I'll say maybe 4 points I'll bring. One is that we have, the collaboration hours marked, which is somewhere around 10 to 7 is what we prefer. We don't, bother anyone that, okay, you have to clock in or clock out the time. There's nothing like that. But again, we have to respect others as well, right? If
Right.
I am an early morning person, I open my laptop and start pinging you again and again that, hey, Sham, I want this from you, can you help me with that? And so it's probably wrong on my part, because
Right.
you will probably start your day when the office hours are beginning, right? So that is why we prefer 10 to 7 being the collaboration hours, not out of the hours pinging other folks. And so you always have the option to schedule your mails and messages, even if you're working late or working early in the morning, do that. But at least respect others is what we say. Again, in the meetings also, everywhere, accept the calendar invites, or if you're declining, decline it with a reason, or so let the other people know. So
Sure.
that is one thing that helps with the collaboration a lot. Second is that we prefer to have documentation of everything done. So whenever we are on the calls and everything, we prefer that, okay, whenever the calls are ending or so, we document everything.
Hmm.
Before the calls, we are setting up an agenda that why we are meeting, and after the call, we are summarizing the call as well. That
Right.
this is what we discussed. That these are the things that are to be done. The third thing is our all hands meet, which actually gives everyone a view of what's happening in the other teams. So
Okay.
we have this every alternate Tuesday. One is the business update meet, another is the people and product update. Because we are growing, we have so many updates to give. So we
Right.
divide it into two parts. In the business updates, all hands that happens for an hour, everyone joins the call. And the all the people like the function heads and even the people who are working on specific projects or something, they come on the call, they give a demo of everything, that this is what's working well for us, these are the areas of improvement for us. And that actually helps them realize as well that okay, this is something working well for me, probably I should be paying more stress to this.
Mm.
This is an area of improvement for me. I should seek help from my coaches or mentors and maybe work better on that. And so
Right.
on, the entire plan is given ahead. So in business update entirely this thing happens. And because everyone is present, they get to hear what all the different functions are doing. And
Mm.
again, similarly happens in people and product updates as well, that what the product is, how we are envisioning the product ahead, what is happening with the product now, new features launch and everything are discussed. And also in people update, what we do is we have like work anniversary celebrations, new hire introduction, and so with this, probably the new folks, like if you enter an office, you are introduced and everything. Here also, whenever they join, they do it on Slack. There's an all intro channel wherein I take the induction session with them. We post a picture, and so other people welcome them. Then they write a description about themselves as well. But again, when there's a call happening on which you see all 170 folks, and then you are being introduced, that has another charm to it, that
Right.
everyone wants that. So that's all hands is another thing. And one fourth thing that I'll mention is the communities that we are having at InFeedo. How communities work at InFeedo is you would see, engagement like this, wherein different kind of engagement activities are done. Probably people success teams are driving it in different companies. But how's InFeedo different is that people success team is not driving these communities. We have drivers from different functions who are taking the ownership of this. So we
Mm.
have like an all fitness channel, all music channel, then there's an all books club channel, probably all food, all travel, and so. And there's a spot that's defined, and we have not assigned them this. They
Right. Right.
by default volunteered for it, that
Right.
I take the ownership of driving this channel. And
Got.
that's where all the people, the similar interest folks meet together, and then they post pictures and everything. And you'll love to hear this, that it's not randomly any person doing it or so, or you'll feel people success. Even our CFO is driving it. The all
Mm.
fitness channel is driven by our CFO himself. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like you were earlier mentioning, middle management coming to office or leadership coming to
Right.
office.
Right.
At Infido, I don't see that difference because it's coming from the leadership, right? They don't consider that hierarchy level, that okay, we are a boss or something like that. They
True.
always treat themselves as coaches and mentors of everyone. So and they take it in their hands that okay, if others are doing it, we'll also do it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think these four things are what probably are defining culture overall for us and driving engagement for us.
Got it. Awesome. And then last roundup question, right? And this is something that uh, uh, I mean, I want to hear specifically, right? I mean, 2021, you consciously decided that you're going to be this, and there have been multiple experiments that have come along the way, right? Uh, in today's time, what gives you as Shilpi, and what gives your entire company, right? Because you said it's not leadership versus the team, right? Everybody is into this, right? What gives you the conviction that 100 or remote is the way to go for InFeedo, right? While a lot of other companies flipping over, right? And they've kind of, some of them have got 180 degrees back, right? It's not that they've gone a different way, right? So what gives you the resolve, right? That this is the way InFeedo would be for the next X number of years, right? So what's helping you make that decision so confidently?
I think uh, taking a decision is more about what blockers you are facing. So, till the time we are not facing a blocker, we don't see this as a wrong decision, because, as we discussed already, that productivity has increased, talent density has increased, people are much more happier working out of home with all the resources that they need, and with, of course, hybrid at choice model as well if they want to go out. So,
Right.
everything in that case working well. What would stop us from not working remotely or probably taking back this is the challenges that we face. And so far, I don't see, any kind of challenge being faced. Like initially when we went remote, yeah, there were challenges. We faced challenge of communication, we faced challenge of documentation. With time, we faced challenge wherein people, some of the folks, I'll say, wanted to move to, a co-working spaces as well, not permanently to office, but they wanted a space as well. So all these things we saw, but we overcome them as well. So I
Right.
think till the time we are not facing any further challenges, like till the time the happiness quotient of the folks is great, that again Amber helps us to gauge as well. Uh,
Right.
Once in a while, we ping everyone with a question via Amber also, that if they are liking remote work, if like
Right.
recently we asked them that if you want to work 2 days out of a co-working space as well, and so. But yeah, that's what makes us realize that what people actually want. And to promote that, team bonding and so many things as well, we have like we work Wednesdays also that we launched a few
Right.
back,
Yes.
wherein
Yeah.
we promote that, and you will see it on GoFloaters as well with the usage, that Wednesday is the day when most of the people come to the co-working space. So
Right.
that's when we are promoting that, okay, once in a while, if you want, a kind of team bonding activity, or if you want something on the office or something like that, do come to the co-working space and work from there. So
Right.
till then, nobody is, opting for it. Nobody is saying that we are not liking it. I don't think we need to even think of it that we want to go back to working from office or so.
Absolutely. And the other side of the coin question for you is like, in the companies that are flipped, right? And we don't want to name any of them and put them on spotlight, right? What do you think? I mean, again, it's a personal opinion, right? We're not asking you. I mean, the company to endorse it, right? What do you think has made them flip over, right? And again, the reasons are being given, and in fact, you would have seen the mass resignation at TCS specifically from women, right? What's causing all of this, right? And what's and not, I mean, Indian companies are not alone, right? Google is facing the same backlash as Meta is facing, as Tesla is facing, right? Everywhere this backlash is happening, right? But in spite of all of that, certain companies are still flipping over, right? And what do you think is happening there, right? What do you think they're doing wrong, maybe in your personal opinion?
See, I don't want to blame anyone that they are doing something wrong. I think there are two things that this entire situation depends on. One is the transparency. Transparency coming from the leadership team, from the people success team, that what we are envisioning ahead. When I say we went remote, I'm already telling you that we had a poll, 60%, or more than 60% of the folks mentioned that they want to work remote. Even after that, when we started hiring, when we increased thrice the size that we were earlier of the headcount, in every JD that we sent across, or even on our website, and everywhere it was mentioned that 100% remote is what InFeedo is now. So
Right.
this actually is a clear expectation setting that is being done by us when we are, totally transparent to the people. And the second thing is people itself, I'll say. It a lot depends on what kind of people you hire, what is the mindset that people are coming with. And as I mentioned, in folks take complete ownership,
Mhm.
and they are transparent as well. So whenever there's anything, they are radically candid. They just come up and they tell that, hey, this is the issue I'm facing. I Can you just help me solve for it? And that's where we step in. We try to look out for solutions and everything. As I mentioned, co-working space was one of them. It did not come in the very initial stages, but later on, different cohorts like extroverts and so, they just came up that, okay, we are not liking this monotonous way now. Earlier it was looking fancy, we said yes to it, but now probably we need a co-working space for this as well. And then
Right.
we looked out for a solution, we got it to them. So I think it's more about transparency and the people that actually helps get out of this situation. Not blaming any other company, of course, but
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
it's more about the talent that you get in.
Right. I think to sum it up, Shilpi, from what I heard, right? So is to again, this is for every company that we work with that's succeeding with finding their way out and being remote or being hybrid is an open mindset, right? You don't know the answers ahead of time, right? You got to figure this out, and you got to figure this out as a team, right? As a company, right? Not It's not like an individual is going to make the decision. So listening that you talked about is coming out heavily. Transparency is another part that's coming out quite thing. And I think the other thing is like visible leadership, right? it's not like I say something, but I do that as well, right? I practice that as well, right? I believe that whatever, I think both in terms of your own usage of the product and also the leaders acting as examples and being there as just another employee. Hey, I'm also going through the same pace. I still don't know, right? And being transparent about it, I don't know. Only when we do it, we'll know that whether it's working or not, right? And I think those are the kind of and the culture, the transparency of the culture that you talked about. All of these are and some very unique like the documentation buddy system, right? The way you onboard is all kind of coming out very clearly as ways in which you have been able to tide over challenges, right? And again, uh, I mean, what works today may not work tomorrow, but you know that for a fact that that's how it's going to be, and you're okay to change the ways to make it work for the future. So I think those are the things I'm taking away from this. And again, once again, uh, thanks for spilling in the beans of how what works at InFeedo and being very candid about how you approach this, right? And sharing the inner workings of how you've transitioned and continue to evolve, right? And that I think that's the point, right? It's an evolution, right? And it's not going to stop, right? You're going to continuously evolve. It's a continuous journey. You don't stop anywhere, right? And I think those are some of the. So thank you for sharing all of that. And the leaf that I want everybody else to take is the same, right? Uh, a lot of us have a preconceived notion of something, and we have, I mean, there's anxiety attached to every decision that you make, right? But then experiment, right? There's nothing you can't go wrong if you experiment, and if you're not working, you can always take it back, right? And then I think that experimentative mindset is something that see many leaders could probably embrace from what InFeedo is doing. So thanks for sharing all of that.
Thank you so much, Sham. That's true that, at InFeedo, we are open to experiment. And with that, we are open to fail as well. So
Right.
whenever leaders tell
Exactly.
us that, any of the founders or any of the leaders who are leading such teams, who are managing teams, they always tell us, go experiment. Even if you fail, that's a learning for you. Go
Right.
ahead, give it a shot. If that doesn't work, learn from it and then come back again stronger.
Right.
So I think with that note, that's very much all about InFeedo. And thank you so much for getting me here. It was wonderful speaking.
No, absolutely. I think that's the. I think that's no. It's a pleasure always to kind of. Uh, I mean, talk to you to because every time I talk, I learn something for myself and helps us build what we are building better. We collaborate heavily, as you know, right? We don't have answers, right? We're also trying to solve the same problems that you have, and we're trying to learn from each other. So I think that journey that way, it's a two-way street, and I love that equation that I have with InFeedo with you and many others. So thanks for being open to share and be open to experiment with along with us, and also letting us fail times so that we also learn from it and get back to you with a better solution the next time.
You always come up with great solutions. Don't worry.
Yeah. So again, thank you. Have a nice day, and I sincerely hope that many people who have listened and who will listen later on will see a lot of interesting insights to take away from this and apply it at their own. Because every company is at different maturity levels of how they're embracing this. So I'm sure it's great learning for them. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great.
Bye.
Bye.